Just ask me about it later, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, by the way."
uh, Keagle, you got some music queued up or something?
All right, ready?
Oh, we're ready.
Yes, sir. Reading you loud and clear. The clock has started. The clock has started. Five, four, three, two, one. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
And welcome to Pressing for Flight, live from the Space Coast, where the schedule never holds. And I'm
Never
supposed
hold.
to send a text to my roommate to tell him that we've started so he can know to be quiet. So I'm going to do that right now.
Be quiet, Brad.
Shut up, Brad.
Everyone send a text to him right now. Everyone.
He's gonna be like, "Dang it!"
What's going on right now?
I wanted to start out tonight with something that I've been mulling over this week. We started our first episode with like, why is space interesting to you? And I've probably had this thought before, but I've been thinking about it a lot recently. But to me, it's what the hell else are we doing? If you look at any species on the planet, they're just doing what their instincts instruct them to do. You know, they go out in the morning and they eat, and then they find some water for the day. They hopefully find a mate, and then they have some babies, and that cycle perpetuates, right? And in that sense, we're just like them. We're animals. Um, we go through our lives. We all have jobs. We're trying to make money to buy the food and maybe have some kids someday and raise those kids. And then when you die, they'll replace you, and hopefully they'll be happy and they'll have jobs and they'll have kids. And it's just this cycle that continues. And it's, nature is beautiful. We love to watch the deer and the swans and the geese and everything do their thing. We're interested in that, right? But we're
They're tasty.
they are, some of them. We're the only species that has the ability to kind of write our own destiny and do more than just that instinct of daily feeding yourself and procreating. And so we, like people always ask, like, what's the meaning of life? And I think there is no meaning. We get to make the meaning. And what else is there but to expand our knowledge? And there's no other way to do that but to reach out. I mean, we can reach down because, sorry, I gotta adjust my chair here, because the oceans are deep and largely unexplored, right? So it's not like, space versus the ocean. That's a thing that happens too. Like, why are we going up there? There's so much unexplored ocean. Well, go do the ocean stuff. By all means, go explore that ocean. But there's nowhere that we're going to be able to live down there. We're not going to set up colonies at the bottom of the ocean. And even if we do, um, that doesn't increase our likelihood of long-term survival. Like,
one day the sun will engulf the earth, and it'll be gone.
exactly.
We got to be somewhere else, or we're done.
Yeah, we got to be somewhere else. And
Yeah.
it gives us. It's like we can all be going through our lives and doing the stuff. We don't have to be working on the rockets or making space probes or anything like that. But the space endeavors that humanity does, we're all kind of helping with that because we pay our taxes, and our taxes, a portion of that goes towards programs like NASA, and they help bring up companies that do the same thing, and eventually we will be able to get off the planet. And not everybody, it's just going to be, it'll be like the Expanse, where a lot of people still live on Earth, but people go out and they live on other planets too.
Yeah.
And I think that that is a worthwhile purpose. It's not the purpose. I don't believe in a purpose. Like, the universe doesn't care about us. The universe could care less if we were here or not. But we are the only species that we know of that can give ourselves a purpose like that.
True.
Everybody
And
do your thing and feed into the machine that is getting us out and gaining more knowledge.
There's it goes a little deeper than that too, though. If you think it's not only that we have the ability to reach out and further our knowledge, but we also have the ability of choice,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody, all of the different species and animals, they have their cycles, but some humans, we can choose whether we want to have babies. We can choose whether we want to even go into what is required to make babies. We can choose when we eat. We can choose what we eat. Other species just do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, and they don't give any thought to it. They just do what their instincts tell them and what their parents taught them. Some of it's instinctual, some of it is by watching their parents. Right? I think so.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's learned from
Why
other behaviors.
Why did we get this? Why are we the lucky species?
We're in the Goldilocks. Goldilocks.
Yeah, because the Earth is in a very special, and this, when you start looking at the list of why this planet is able to have intelligent life, it kind of it makes it seem less likely that there's intelligent life outside of the solar system. While I think that there is, it's much more rare than what we might like to think. Like what are all those reasons? One, we're in the Goldilocks zone, so we're at this perfect distance away from the sun that we're able to have liquid water. Well, another one is that our planet has a molten core and is able to generate a magnetic field which protects us from solar radiation. If we didn't have that, we'd be like Mars, because Mars's atmosphere was blown away over millions of years, but it's because there's a constant wind. It's called the solar wind. It's coming off of the sun. It's pushing outward constantly, and what our magnetic field does is it forces all those particles to kind of go up and around. Some of them, like, Bekah, have you ever seen like the lines, like the magnetic field lines of the Earth?
Probably.
It's like a big
I've
Captain
seen
America
lines.
field out there.
I've seen lines on a picture of a globe, Earth situation.
All right, let's see if I can. Okay, I should be able to find an image pretty quick. Yeah. And yeah, you probably have seen these, but so that magnetic field makes those charged particles that kind of go around, and some of them actually come in and they swirl around the north and south pole, and that's where you get the northern lights. That's what the aurora is, because those charged particles come and they interact with the atmosphere somehow, and they make those pretty colors. So, and that also helps keep the atmosphere from being blown away over time. Whereas Mars doesn't have, it has a magnetic field, and if you see a picture showing the magnetic field lines, it's like how ours is just this big thing that goes out way away from the Earth. The magnetic field on Mars, it just kind of pokes up out of the surface in little places. It's not enough to protect the atmosphere from being blown away. Let's see. Another one is that we've managed to go a long time without any major impacts. We've got a good mix of the elements that you need for organic life. There's probably planets out there that have a similar situation, but they just don't have the right stuff on the planet,
Not yet.
Or not yet. Yeah, it hasn't been delivered there because they think that, most of our water was delivered by comets. Because there was a period of time that there were lots of comets and asteroids hitting Earth. There's a lot of shit hitting a lot of things in the solar system.
Or there's planets that did have life millions and millions of years ago and they already went extinct.
And they got wiped out, yeah. Well, It's like that almost happened with, the one that killed the dinosaurs. That could have happened. In fact, that's an interesting thought, that the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, it killed all the big stuff, like all the dinosaurs. The little stuff was the mammals. They were like little mice type things. They weren't mice exactly, but they were the mammals. And then, so killing off all the dinosaurs gave the mammals the opportunity to rise up and be the dominant it's not species, but the dominant class. What do you call those categories? You know, mammals and reptiles and whatever. What do they call
Bigger,
those?
bigger, and biggest.
Those groups.
Gene, hmm, I don't know. It's like genus,
Yeah, maybe.
species, phylum. I know there's a lot of those words, but I don't know which one is the one that tells you if it's a mammal or a reptile or what.
Right.
Have you ever thought, because you said that it's life on other planets or elsewhere in the universe is few and far between, or more
Intelligent life,
fewer,
I think intelligent life is very rare.
and because you have said this, we are in the Goldilocks zone,
Mhm.
so we were able to get to the point that we're at.
Well, the Goldilocks
What if
zone that refers to the distance from any given star that would
right
make it possible to have liquid water instead of. Yeah.
right what if there is an even more Goldilocks zone? What if what we think is the most successful outcome is not?
Right.
What if there's liquid of other things somewhere else that we've never even imagined because they have an even more Goldilocks zone than we have? So it might be even more frequent and closer to each other than
Well,
we
it
think.
could be, and we're learning a lot when it comes to that, and that's one of the reasons that we want to send a mission to Titan. We've already sent one. It was the Huygens probe. It was are you familiar with the Cassini spacecraft? It was the one that spent like 10 or 15 years orbiting around Saturn, and all those beautiful close-up pictures that you've seen of Saturn's rings and
Yes.
Enceladus shooting off geysers and all this stuff and
Mhm.
all that stuff, that's all from Cassini. But when Cassini got there, it had a passenger, which was the Huygens probe that it dropped off, and it landed on Titan, which is one of Saturn's moons. And where we have water everywhere, uh, Titan has methane everywhere. It has lakes of methane, and so scientists have thought, well, I wonder, it's like water is good. It's like the ultimate solvent, right? It's the universal solvent or whatever. But maybe it's possible that another liquid thing could be good for mixing up. That's what it is. You need something that's going to mix up chemicals and give these opportunities for these organic molecules to bump into each other, and some kind of reaction happens, and it's kind of a luck of the draw thing. And the way they think it happened on Earth is there was these perfect opportunities, like you have at the beach. You see the crashing waves. Well, that's a bunch of stuff being mixed up, and maybe at just the right time, when just the right molecules were right next to each other, there was a lightning bolt that hit it, and enough energy was injected into that to start something, have this single-celled organism form. Or maybe it's not even a cell. Maybe it's just like molecules that are together that are able to self-replicate, right? That's kind of how they think that life got started.
Thank you, Lightning.
Yeah, thanks, Lightning. And that was another thought, a drunken thought. One night I was out there by myself, and I was thinking, I wonder, if it happened once, I wonder if it happens all the time. Maybe not frequently, but like every couple of years, like a new organism is created on the beaches of the world.
And we'll never find out about
We'll
it.
never know, because they probably wouldn't survive. Whatever it was, it'd be devoured by the life that's already here, right? But I wonder if there's ever any like other genesises, on the beaches of the world.
There's
I'm
there's
sure.
somewhere there's like an acid lake, and there's actually one, whatever, some kind of, I don't remember what it was, what type of species, but it was living in this acid water where nothing
Cool.
else could survive but this one. I don't know if it's bacteria or it was actually an organism that was actually living in this acid lake.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
we have, a category of animals called extremophiles that live in places that we never would have thought possible. Like, we go down to the deepest parts of the ocean and we find life. You know, they congregate around these vents that are coming up out of the floor of the ocean of just hot water.
Mm-hmm.
But they're under such crazy pressures. It's like, how in the world are they able to survive under there? But they are.
They're there.
Yeah.
Hanging out by those vents.
Yeah, and do they spend how much time do these things spend right there? What if they wander away from these vents? Are they just screwed?
I wonder if it's too cold. I don't know.
Yeah, it gets too cold for them. They're like, nope, can't do that.
Yeah, just gotta hang out. We just live around here.
Um,
I don't know what they're eating. That's for another
Nathan.
show.
Nathan's in here. Said his purpose is finding the curve. So I didn't tell you this, Matt. I don't know if you've been on Twitter, but so anybody watching, Becky and I, and every once in a while Keagl's on there. We do this podcast called Verbal Assault, and a couple of weeks ago we talked about Mad Mike Hughes, the guy that built his own steam-powered rocket, and he's a flat earther, and he wants to fly up really high and see if there's a curve. We're gonna have him on the show next week.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
He's going to be on Verbal Assault. So, if you're watching this show, if you enjoy this show, understand we are not flat earthers, but I did used to believe in conspiracy theories. I'm gonna be honest here, okay? I used to believe that we didn't land on the moon. This was years ago, okay? I used to believe that 9/11 was a conspiracy. I used to believe in all that stuff, and I managed to get out of it, right? I was honestly trying to find the truth, and I found the truth, and I know that the Earth is
Thank
round, and I know that we've been to the moon and all this stuff.
You've
And
been
now I
saved.
watch the rockets launch myself, but I try not to just completely rule out someone just because they believe the Earth is flat. If they're willing to find the evidence themselves and not just watch some YouTube videos and say where to curve at. But this guy wants to, he's already built a rocket and he's already launched, but it wasn't even intended to go high enough. Keagle, do you remember how high it went?
Almost 2,000 feet is like 1958
it wasn't.
or something.
Yeah, it wasn't that high, but he was more or less testing out the concept, and he did it. And he didn't go high enough to see the curve. It wasn't even the purpose, but he wants to continue on, and he does want to build his own rocket to get up high enough to do it.
3 million was it? He's trying to crowdfund. I think it's 3 million.
Is it 3? I thought it was 2. I think it's 2.
Maybe 2 million.
I'm just curious, like, how on earth did you guys get him to come out of the show?
He listened to our other podcast.
Really?
Well, yeah, I think he was turned on to it by this other Twitter account, the Infinite Plane Society, and they're like, I guess by the name Infinite Plane, they don't suggest that there's just a drop off past Antarctica. They just think that it's all flat and it just goes on forever. I guess. I don't know. I should look into it more before I say something like that. But so they retweeted our show, and then they messaged us and they said, you guys should think about trying to get Mad Mike on there because he's open to that sort of thing. And then he actually sent us a message on SoundCloud, I guess, which Patrick, the guy that does worries about all the uploading to SoundCloud and stuff, he got this message and got the ball rolling. And apparently Mad Mike had listened to the show and he wanted to be on it. So we're gonna have him on the show next week.
They said he listened to it and liked it.
He said he liked it. I mean, I always assume. I used to be in a band, and people used to always say that stuff all the time.
No, it's genuine.
Right?
I believe it.
They just say, "Oh yeah, we really like it."
So is he? I'm assuming he's phoning in.
Google Hangouts, hopefully.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's the only way that we can do it. That's the only way we're set up.
In the documentary that he did, it's on Hulu, right? Was it no Amazon? Amazon.
Netflix.
It's on Netflix. I watched it on Amazon.
Oh, was it on?
It's probably, yeah, I watched it on Amazon.
Oh, whoops. I think it's on Netflix too.
It might be.
I don't know.
They all get those same rights.
I don't know.
But oh, now I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind. I got sidetracked.
Oh, you're talking about how he was on a show. He was on like a YouTube podcast.
On the show. He was on another podcast and did like an interview.
That's too
with
cool.
these two girls. I don't know the name.
I don't even remember what the name of the show was, but they look pro. I mean, they definitely their setup looked good. So that's interesting. Mad Mike
Very
Hughes.
cool. Yep.
Hey,
that's
he
gonna be
builds
a
his
cool
own
show.
rockets, man. You gotta have respect for a guy that can actually build,
Yeah,
because
no
that thing
joke.
worked, and you
With
know,
the help of his landlord.
right? But it worked, and it's
If it's,
the reason it's so impressive is because it's steam powered, right? And the way they do it is they fill it up with water, and then they heat that water up to 400 degrees, and that water wants out. It wants to boil, right? So your ship has to be strong enough to hold that in, that longing to explode until you actually release the valve or whatever at the bottom, and then it shoots out the bottom, and that's what propels you up.
Well, his first attempt, it started to leak, and he hopped in it like a crazy man and barely buckled himself in and pulled the valve and shot off.
Oh,
That's
when
he
he
did that hard
launched,
landing.
he launched like
Yeah.
diagonal, right?
Yeah, like a crazy guy, and he slammed down and messed up his back. And yeah.
Oh man.
Is that how he earned the nickname?
No, he was already a stunt guy before. He was all
jumping cars and his limo and all kinds of stuff.
Daredevil or whatever.
I have a lot to learn about this man before I speak.
You
with
gotta
him.
watch that doc. It's a fun watch.
It's good. Yeah, it's called Rocket Man, y'all. If you want to know, it's worth watching.
Interesting.
Hey, I have no problem, dabbling in the other side. All
right.
I think it's important to, to hear what the other side has to say. And it's apologetics. It's a term I learned back when I used to go to church, but it's it's important. You shouldn't just keep your head in the ground and stick with your own understandings forever. So on that note, let's talk about new spacesuits for people that are rich enough and don't have the time to build their own rocket.
Or a proper suit.
Yeah, he's going up. It's like,
He's wearing a racing suit, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not even a flight suit, and
it's like a Sparko.
Yeah, his helmet doesn't even secure his, he's got a visor that comes down, but it doesn't come down even past his chin. It's not like
it's like
a full
it's like
wrap.
a piece of plastic. It's like he screwed it onto the outside of his half-face helmet.
Oh man,
very safe.
Oh man, Mike, if you're watching this show, in all honesty, if you're watching Pressing for Flight right now, you've got balls of steel, man.
Yeah,
straight up, straight up. We're joking around, having a good time, but I have respect for you, man. That's some pretty ballsy stuff. I couldn't do it. I'll tell you right now. There's no way.
Yeah.
More power to you, man.
It's impressive, man. And the fact that he's willing to do it again, because that last launch, it was a hard landing.
The first one was really bad. When that parachute went out because of he didn't go up. He went.
Oh yeah, he pulled the chute too soon, and it ripped the chute all to hell.
It ripped it apart.
Yeah.
So he really hit hard on that one.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was
so well, Virgin Galactic is a little bit further along than Mr. Hughes. They've got their Spaceship 2. They're saying they are just about ready to start flying paying passengers. Now, understand that they have already flown people to space, and whenever that happened, it was debated. Well, did they really go to space? Was the Kármán line, or this line, or whatever? But they went up there high enough to be above a majority of the atmosphere, and they saw the curvature of the Earth and all that. So the two pilots have been up there, and they also brought someone else. I think I don't remember her title, but she has something to do with training the astronauts, the paying passengers that are going to go up.
Yeah.
And so she wrote on it. Well, they have been working with Under Armour on their spacesuit, and they unveiled it yesterday. And so I don't know if everybody's seen the video, so I'll just share the screen.
Like a beginning of an Apple video.
Yeah. Very artsy.
Mr. Bronson for you.
Yeah. Yep, there he is.
Has anybody watched? I know I saw this on Facebook or somewhere. Has anyone seen Star Trek Discovery?
No.
if you could bring up their uniforms from that show, they look almost exactly like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, remind me.
Very similar.
Yeah, they look like sci-fi TV show spacesuits.
Yeah, that's what
They're
the
awesome.
new Star Trek Discovery. That's what those
Now
suits look like.
this here, I think, is like the base suit, because they in the on the Virgin Galactic website, it mentions that there's a base suit and then a flight suit, and then there's a training suit and a limited edition jacket. But I think when you actually go to fly, you'll have this thing underneath something else. And I think that this is to, hopefully, it's built to protect you in the event. Okay, so the two, I don't know, those look kind of loose. Those are not very huggy. But I hope that they have made them to protect you in the event of a depressurization.
All right.
Because they are going up high enough for that to matter, you know? I don't know.
Very
It
cool,
had some shots with the helmets, and it was hard to see if the helmets are actually like connected to the suit. You know,
Well, I hope so.
it seems like they would, like, these suits would have to have some compression to them, you know, to,
Right.
because it's not going to be like an EVA suit like you see astronauts getting outside the space station and they got this big thing, you know, that can protect them for hours. But it needs to be something that can at least protect you for a few minutes until you get back down into the atmosphere where you're okay.
Right.
I mean, obviously they're hoping that never happens, but
Well, stuff happens.
you just
though.
never know, man. You're going from atmosphere to no atmosphere, and the atmosphere inside that plane wants out.
Yep.
You know, that's how that works. That's why you have to get those, because that atmosphere wants out. A friend of mine years ago, we were talking about whether or not we'd want to go to space. I obviously would want to, but he was like, "I'll tell you why I don't want to, because when you're out there in the vacuum of space, it doesn't really work like this, but it's like space is trying to pull your spacecraft apart, because that air that's inside there wants to expand out into that vacuum where there's nothing. It wants to fill that void, and that's why they're so hard to build."
Here you go. I'll show you what the Star Trek Discovery
All right.
looks like.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that looks almost identical.
It's very similar.
Weird.
It looks like a fake show.
It's actually a really good show.
I know. I recognize half of those people, but it still looks like a high school art project or something. It doesn't.
I think maybe that photo, yeah, but that's a good show. I'm waiting for Picard.
Oh yeah.
And
Picard and dog.
and also NASA had a spacesuit to unveil, and this one will protect you against the vacuum of space. And again, I'll share just in case everybody hasn't seen it. The one on the right is a flight suit. That's what they'll launch in, the orange one. Yeah.
Yeah, look at him.
Sexy.
Strutting. Yeah.
Strutting. He got a little captain in him.
Yep. And this girl actually works on the spacesuits. She's not just a model. They were talking about her when they were doing the unveiling.
I bet she's so happy to be doing that too.
Yeah. So they do still look big and bulky, but man, I think it's going to be a long time before we can get away from that. I think they have to learn a lot to be able to not have a suit that's that big. You know, it's not going to be like The Martian for a while, where you just, you know, the suit just looks like it's just painted on, you know.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but those with this new suit though, it gives the astronauts they get more mobility compared to the Apollo era.
Yeah.
When they were really restricted, they couldn't really move very much. That's why when you see them, Neil and all of them, on the moon, they're just kind of more or less just bouncing around. When they fall, they have a really hard time getting up because they really have no movement in those suits.
Yep.
These look like they're not going to have a problem at all. Like they look like they have a lot of mobility to them.
Right. Yeah. The reason that they were bouncing was not because it was fun or because that's how you have to move around on the moon. You could walk, but you couldn't in those suits.
No. Yeah, those suits were just Very, very difficult to maneuver in.
Yeah, but that was, that was our first attempt at a real spacesuit. We'd
Yeah.
had, leading up to that, we'd had Mercury and Gemini, and the Mercury suits, man, those were like, there was like nothing to them.
Those are the ones you're talking about with basically being painted on.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Like they wore aluminum foil.
Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Check this out.
Yeah, see? Aluminum foil.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing to it.
No, there's nothing to those suits.
Kept you warm.
They've got Neil Armstrong inside a Mercury suit. I don't know that he ever wore a Mercury suit. Unless maybe they used the same suit for Gemini. Yeah, it does look like his face was photoshopped in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, they used the same suit for the Gemini missions.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well then that would make sense. Yeah, it's going to be tough to be able to do that. I mean, you hear if you're plugged in, you hear people talking about how we might do that, and it has a lot to do with compression. Basically what it is you got to keep those nitrogen molecules in your bloodstream from expanding into bubbles. It's like the bends. That's basically, I guess, how it would work. If you found yourself, if you had a leak in your suit and it was starting to depressurize, it'd be basically like getting the bends. Like you're down deep in the ocean and then you start coming up, and all those nitrogen and I guess oxygen, all those molecules, they start expanding into gas. They become bubbles in your bloodstream. You don't want that. And then you turn into Arnold on.
Was it Total Recall?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Those eyeballs pop out.
Yeah, the eyeballs. I want to look like that.
That claymation. Like,
There it is. Oh yeah. Oh man, it's even animated. Excellent. That's what will happen to you. Mars! Get to Mars! Do it now!
the air is out.
You have to give the people air.
Just use the weird pyramid thing. You evaporate the water, and bam, there's an atmosphere.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
The end of the movie, basically.
Put your hand on the thing, and there's a bunch of heaters will lower into some ice, and then all of a sudden,
bam!
And it just takes a few seconds. Like if you're outside, in the Martian atmosphere, just give it a few minutes. You'll be fine.
All this time, some society made these things and no one knew how to do. But when they built it, they were functional and they never used it. They just went extinct right then. They built them, they're like dead.
I have an idea. Maybe, and I wouldn't give the writers or directors of Total Recall this much credit, but maybe because Mars has no magnetic field, so the atmosphere is constantly being blown away. And so they knew, like, maybe when they left Mars, it had the atmosphere, but they knew over time it was going to get blown away. So they packed all this ice down in there, and they're like, if somebody else comes along and they want to spruce the place up, all they got to do is put their hand on this thing, and bam, you got yourself an atmosphere.
Yeah. Life has a way.
Life finds a way. Let's see. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, the thing that me and Matt were talking about. Why in the world didn't we know about this? So they had the SLS Core Stage, or the Pathfinder, which what they mean by Pathfinder is it's basically a test article where they're going to bring it and put it through all the pages. Whoops, I didn't mean to have audio.
Really?
That's Chris G talking. He was live streaming from inside the VAB today. But they basically, it's just a test art. It's the same dimensions, the same weight, and it's got some like mock-up parts that are like, this is where this would go, and like those engines on there are not real. I guess I'm not sharing my screen. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, this is from inside the VAB. Those engines are all fake, but this thing weighs the same amount as an actual empty SLS Core Stage, and they're just basically practicing, but they're also kind of making sure that everything lines up the way they expect it. Because until now, an SLS core stage has never been inside the VAB. So yeah, that was going on right down the road, and I did not know that there was even that media had even been invited. And I was talking to Matt about it before we started, and thinking that the people that were in there for this are the same people that were out there watching the Pegasus barge bring it here. And so they got the invite because they were out there for that. While we were in Tennessee for that. I would have totally gone out there for that too. But was not in town. I did get an email about that.
Oh, did
What
you? I
is
was
that?
going to say, did you have to be like a media credential to even go see it?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, but I got an email about it, or at least I don't know, found a link or press release or something where I could have applied if I was going to be here.
Yeah. Yep.
What was that thing called that's in the VAB that you didn't know about?
It's called the SLS Core Stage Pathfinder.
Oh,
It's the one that might
Right.
go
No,
into space one day.
yeah.
Well, not
yeah.
that, but yeah.
Right. Maybe. No.
No. I meant like the SLS.
SLS,
itself.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that the core was in there. We just didn't know that this event was going on today,
Right,
with
where
like
they had
media
invited
showing
people.
up and exactly. Yeah, we had no idea about that. It was just kind of like, oh, well, look what's going on today.
I was out by the visitor center today working. I didn't hear nothing.
See, even Keagl didn't know about it. He does the antennas.
I was fixing the internets.
There you go. Yeah, fixing them net there internets.
How your internet's doing? Send Keagle out. He'll tell you.
Yeah. I hooked up the Astronaut Hall of Fame building because their internet was down.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Man, that thing is awesome. That the Astronaut Hall of Fame thing is so cool. You go in there and there's they got displays all around you and stuff, and then whenever it starts, it's very inspirational. And if you have a hero, it makes you think of that hero.
Yep, it's so inspirational that my son hates it.
Really? Oh, it's probably boring to a kid.
No, it freaks him out. Like it scares him.
A whole bunch of heads everywhere.
Like the 3D part. Like when you go into the next room and you're like flying through, through like arteries or nerves or whatever it's supposed to be.
Yeah. He doesn't like that too much.
Is there something that's similar to that at the Space Center?
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it sounds like something I've seen before, but there's no way I've been there. But I have. I saw that.
Heroes and Legends, I believe it's called. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was in some older building. I was a little bit further away from there.
Oh,
where
really?
their like headquarters is. But I noticed there's some program they had there was a whole bunch of kids there. It's called Space Trek that they do out of there. And I was like, oh,
what is that?
Interesting. And they were out shooting. They were shooting rockets. Where you put the water and then you pressurize it.
Mm-hmm.
They were out there shooting. I was watching them do that. I was like, that's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
They're learning out there.
Yep. And sometimes it's not, you don't have a really huge flexible schedule. Like today, I told Keagle and Steve-O about this today. They were actually filming National Geographic's The Right Stuff here in my hometown. So they're actually filming a TV series here.
Did like an open call too, right?
Yeah,
Wait a
open
second.
call.
Is this an ongoing thing? Because they were here about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's what Steve-O was saying. That they're just there with filming where you guys were, but now they're here where I live doing. I guess they were filming today because I emailed them and said, "Hey, are you guys still doing anything on Sunday? I'm more than open." They're like, "Well, we're not filming on Sunday." I'm like, "Do you need any help? Like, just let me do something.
I can do?
Anything I could do. Just let me check it out. You know what I mean?" But you're like, "No,
I want to meet Leo." Leonardo DiCaprio's he's an executive producer, so he's probably not even around.
He ain't there.
That means he's got his name on it, But
he's not coming here.
Correction. I did meet Leonardo DiCaprio at my high school.
Oh, please.
In
How
Merritt
is that
Island.
possible?
He filmed what was that movie?
Gilbert Grape.
I can't remember No, it was
The
another
Beach.
one. It's gonna drive me crazy. I'm gonna look up the name of the movie now.
Titanic.
The Departed.
Shutter Island. Seinfeld.
The Simpsons.
What? Inception. Did you say
No.
The
No,
Simpsons?
this
Or
is
did you
I
say...
did,
at,
yeah.
at his high school. Wait, while you were
Yeah,
in
I
high
know.
school, Keagle?
Yeah, they were.
I mean, this had to be a long time ago.
This was,
Right?
this
Wow.
was
Wait.
97.
Was it Keagle's Day Off?
No,
All right, I'm gonna do some research here because we've named all of Leonardo DiCaprio's
Right.
movies.
I mean, it's got to be in the ballpark of What's Eating Gilbert Grape. It's got to be around that time because that's. I don't remember when that came out or anything, but that is about that time.
I'm with Beck on the Titanic one though.
It's
gotta
definitely Titanic.
Yeah.
Definitely Titanic.
it was not Titanic.
They filmed the drowning.
Oh, there it is.
It
Marvin's Room.
Well, if you
Marvin's Room.
Marvin's Room. And Titanic's
Whatever.
cooler.
Who's ever heard of Marvin's Room?
I don't
The
know. They
ocean
did
scene
some
was-
filming in historic Cocoa Beach, not Cocoa Beach, historic Cocoa Village. And
Really?
they set up all their trailers in our parking lot.
wow, Meryl Streep is in that movie too.
Yeah, so I saw him and Meryl Streep
And Diane Keaton
on our lunch break one day.
Dang,
We went
look at you
out
go.
there, and
and Robert De Niro. Did you meet all these
no,
people?
I did not see Robert De Niro. I just saw Meryl Streep and Leonardo DiCaprio, and he walked by everyone and said hi. And...
Keagle, we're gonna need you to get Mr. De Niro for the show.
Your old friend.
I know you
went to high
guys.
school with
You
him.
guys are
You
bros.
said it.
That is not happening.
You had the class together in Marvin's room with Robert De Niro.
Mr. Marvin, you know,
Yeah.
the PE teacher, but he also doubled as the science teacher.
Due to budget cuts.
Right, budget cuts. Yeah, he had to do double duty.
So I was off. I was probably a freshman because that came out in 90. When did that come out? I just saw it. 96. So they probably filmed the year before. So I was like freshman.
Guys, I don't know if y'all are going to appreciate this, but I have so much more freedom now because I moved my. I don't know. Have you heard me complaining about my wireless keyboard and how much it sucks? And I have to
Yep.
Well, I moved the little receiver thing because it's actually like one of those things you get. It's got several USB ports and SD card slots and stuff like that on it, but it's on a wire. So I moved it up on the desk, so now it's like maybe a foot from my keyboard, and it's working like nobody's business. I could Google anything, anytime. I don't even have to worry about whether the letters are going in there.
Wow, that's great
That's
news.
good.
Isn't that
Help you
awesome?
Figure out
Fantastic.
your connectivity issues.
How you guys feel about that? Is that good?
I appreciate it.
All right.
We're glad you love your keyboard again.
Oh man, I was about to go buy another keyboard, a wired one, but
Yeah,
now I
well.
can free up a USB port.
That's right.
That's
No
the
name.
meaning of
Connected
life.
keyboard.
Keagle,
The meaning of
didn't
life.
you
No.
say that we have a new launch pad coming to Kennedy Space Center / the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station?
Ooh,
Yes, we do.
do tell.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
do.
have,
And actually, what's funny is like he found this article just by accident, and I thought that it was like a new article, but apparently this article came out. Emery Kelly wrote it. He's with Florida Today. This came out in June, and I hadn't caught wind of it. I don't think at all. Take it
Yeah,
away.
I discovered a little bit of information from work, but so there's going to be a launch pad 48 and a launch complex 49, and then also a horizontal launch area.
Yeah, which is a.
How?
It's got to be a. Yeah. How do you launch something horizontal? Aren't you
I don't
defeating
know,
the
but they're
purpose?
building a spot.
No,
I mean, I
it's
guess
a
the other-
runway.
Yeah, so it's going to be supporting both government and commercial space flight, orbital and suborbital. I can't talk.
Suborbital.
Crewed and uncrewed. Let's see what else to say. Multiple hangars with office and shops, passenger processing, training and operation facilities, assembly processing and manufacturing facilities, and propellant and fueling facilities. And also has railway access available.
So, man, I was kind of joking earlier about maybe Virgin Galactic would use it, but maybe Virgin Galactic would use that. You know, it says crewed and
Yeah.
uncrewed. You know, and I kind of wonder why they need another one. You know, they have the shuttle landing strip, and they also have another landing strip further down the Cape.
Well, this area I don't think it'd be long enough for most even aircrafts to land, because like the runway here is a normal size I don't know if you have the map up. I don't know what you're showing. I sent you a map. But...
The future land use map.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that. Well, let's see. Oh, it does give.
It shows the original.
It's like I don't know, man. That looks like that might be about 2.5 miles. That could be like a 2-mile runway. How long is the shuttle landing runway? Hey, I can Google stuff.
Yeah, your keyboard works.
Yeah. 2 to 3 miles, I want to say.
You can zoom in on that graphic too when you get back over.
How long is this? Okay, so it's one of the longest runways in the world at 4,572 meters. Can you convert that into miles for me?
What 900? What 91.4 meters?
It's 15,000 feet. Let's convert 15,000 feet to miles.
Somebody's yelling at their screen right now.
They already know it. Their keyboards have always worked.
Yeah. 2.84. Okay.
So almost 3.
Yeah, almost 3 miles.
So,
and then this one, I mean, and I'm just going off of, it's got the little key at the bottom. It's like this far is this many miles. And that looks to me very close to the 2.5 mile point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. It's just for some reason when you zoom in the map, it seems so much smaller than the original runway. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, that entire brown area over there for the shuttle is not, that's not the whole runway. The runway there's like a little outline inside there.
But man, whatever 49 is going to be is right next to Play Linda Beach. If not,
yeah, that is the road that you take to get to Playa Linda Beach. So you'll be running right alongside it, but it's just stuff taking off. Like it's not going to be rockets, rocket engines going. So I don't think it's going to be the kind of thing that shuts down the beach.
Oh, but then the other one is a launch complex, the blue and white one.
Oh, the striped one.
That's a pad.
Notional LC49. Oh,
49.
Okay, that will shut things
down.
Super close. That'll shut things down. Dude, that's so close that like after a launch, you might be able to go out there, just drive out to Playa Linda and like see debris.
Yeah.
Like it'll be scattered on the road.
Yeah, because that thing's gonna shoot things everywhere.
It's gonna be right there. And I guess that dot is that dot next to the striped area. Is that dot supposed to be where the launch pad would be?
That's a good question.
I would think so.
There is a map. It's not labeled. It says vertical landing. Is that color? Nah, that wouldn't be it.
Vertical landing. Oh.
It does show as that color.
I didn't even look at the color coded part. Vertical landing. That to me that matches the the whole area of the nature preserve or whatever. The Merritt Island Wildlife Reservation. Like that's like kind of like a tannish brown color, right?
But that's also the color of that dot.
Ah. Okay.
So, I don't know.
Who knows? We're just speculating here, folks.
So wait, so you're not saying that it's anywhere near? Wait, so you're saying it matches it in what?
I was
size?
Saying color. Well,
color?
I'm just by the color from the color key.
Oh, here, let me share the screen so she
I can't see anything.
All right, so up here, if you can see my cursor, up here is where the vertical landing color is, and that is the same color of this as this dot. But what's 49 supposed to be used for? Because you said that 48 down here was going to be for ULA, right?
Yeah, that's what I was reading. I found that, but then I couldn't find too much about 49. Not a lot of information about 49.
Yeah. This is all like preliminary stuff, getting ready for an exploding launch market. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, here we go. All right, hold on. 49. One potential new. So I guess it says one potential new vertical launch area would be 49. Could be sited north of 39B. Let's see. I'm seeing if it says anything. Nah, there's no information. There, no one says anyone's going to use it yet. By 41, no, 41's already been used.
It is weird to me that they need to build new launch pads and stuff when they have so many down here. Now, I understand that some of these launch pads are considered historic and they probably don't want to build on them for things. Like they have, let's see, do I still have it? One of these pads is actually, they have the Apollo 1 memorial. And I'm guessing that that's because that is where Grissom, White, and Chaffee died on the pad.
Right.
I saw it earlier. I'm not seeing it now. Maybe I have to zoom in further. But I could see why you wouldn't want to use that pad.
Right. Well, here's some interesting. It says pad 49 can use beach road access, allowing for more autonomous operations and to operate outside KFC secured area.
Now, was that Kentucky Fried Chicken or
probably? So it's like
okay,
the reason,
or is it Kitchen Fried Chicken?
So is it like it makes it easier for them to transport stuff, like how they have the Starship somewhere where they have to like shut down a highway to get it to where it needs to be?
This seems like it'd be outside of secure area, so more people. I mean, I don't know. You can go do amateur rockets there. I don't know. I don't understand.
It could be, but I mean that's the road that's the road that the public uses to get to Playa Linda Beach.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's it. I think they're maybe just.
But they always shut that place down after an X amount of time, anyways. Any kind of launch.
Yeah, they usually shut it down for a launch from 39A. They don't always shut it down. I think it has to do with which way the wind is blowing, like literally.
Yeah.
Because if the wind is blowing north or from the south to the north, and if something did go wrong and there were toxic fumes in the air, it would blow over to where those people would be standing. So if the wind is blowing that direction, they don't want to have people out there.
Yeah, I think you even got pictures out there from launches.
Yeah, I've seen a couple. I've seen Atlas V from there. Hell, I've been out there a bunch for launches, but there was one launch. I don't remember which one it was. It was a Falcon 9, but it got scrubbed like 4 times. Do you guys remember? Like it was sometime in the last year. It just kept getting scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed.
And finally it went off.
And I went out there like 3 times, and that was devastating.
I've never been out there for a launch, not yet.
It's good, man, especially for one from like 39 or 41 or 40. Like 41 is good because that's even closer than 40. That where the Atlas V launches from is closer to Playa Linda Beach than where the Falcon 9 launches from 40 anyway. Obviously, 39A is even closer.
It's just every single time I get out there, it's always closed.
Yeah.
Every time, and I'm like, man, come on! I remember one time they literally had closed it with like a minute of me getting there, and I'm like, are you serious? Just let me in, man. I drove all this way. Let me in. They wouldn't do it, man. And I was just like, come on. If you would have been here just a few minutes sooner, I was like, I'm here, aren't I?
Oh, was it like they had reached capacity or something, or was it closing time?
It was probably time to start closing it down.
Oh, well, they were probably trying to kick everybody out of there anyway, right?
Yeah. No, it wasn't closing time. It was the launch hadn't gone yet.
Oh, okay. And it was just there was only so many people they could let through.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. And so they were like, if you would have been here a few minutes earlier, and I was like, man, I live over an hour away, man. I try to get here as fast as I can.
Yeah, that's a bummer, man. It is a great place to watch from. You feel so much closer than when you're down here at Jetty.
I got have any scheduled to go off there anytime soon?
Yes, the Starlink launch is launching from LC-40, which is one of the ones that's kind of close to it. It's I'm gonna say it's probably the closest you can be is probably like 6 miles.
Yeah,
something like that.
No, the closest you can be is within 3 miles.
I mean, from Playa Linda.
Oh, from Playa Linda?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because 40 is here. I'll share my screen again. So
39A is
show
within
Becca.
it's like 2 point some odd miles, and I believe that they like rope it off to where you can't even go past a certain point,
Right.
from what I understand, because it is so close. Um, but
So Becca, this is where 40 is, and that's where Falcon 9 launches from. That's where Starlink's going to launch, and this road takes you out to Playa Linda, and I know, I remember the hard turn left, and then you still have to go up a little ways, and the parking lot is up here somewhere. But
yeah,
and once you park, you can walk back down south a little bit, but only so far. And then
Once you walk further.
there's
so
a thing blocking you from going any further.
so the next to answer your question, Becca, the next actual launch from 39A is actually in November, and actually for the Crew Dragon in-flight abort test.
What day?
It just says November.
Yeah,
They
we don't
haven't
know yet.
nailed down a date yet. That's gonna be. I'm telling you right now, since that's a inboard mission, that's gonna fill up fast. That's gonna fill really fast. That's gonna be one of those. It's almost gonna be Falcon Heavy type of crowds.
I think so. Yeah, people are
Yeah.
going to hear that there's going to be an exploding rocket, and
Yeah.
and you don't have to be sad about it.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to see that.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
meant to do that.
Yeah. That's gonna be one of those. That's gonna be yeah.
That might
Now,
be a day I can call into work.
If
Yeah. Right.
if they
I got the
launch,
black lung today.
so typically for a mission to the space station, they do launch to the northeast, and if they follow that same trajectory, Playa Linda is the place to be.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be launching towards the north, whereas if you were down here at Jetty Park or something, or even over in Titusville, rockets going up and farther away from you than even when it launched. But if you're at Playa Linda, if they allow people to even be there, then it has to come towards you and then pass you. So you'll be quite a bit closer than everybody else by being on Playa Linda Beach.
Right.
Well, I'm sold.
Yeah.
That's where I'll be.
Well,
Now-
I'm crossing my fingers that I can get in as media and be wherever they put the media. Although,
Now,
I
they-
might.
although
I
I
might
don't
actually
know,
be
I might
working out
change
there,
my mind
so
because I could still
I
set
might get lucky
cameras.
to work out there.
You might, but I could still set cameras and not watch from the press area and go out to
Yeah.
Playa Linda because that might really be the place to be.
Yep, that's it. And anybody who's watching, if you've never seen booster landings, which is usually it's a Falcon Heavy, and usually the CRS missions, CRS 19 is launching December 4th. There's no time yet, but it will be landing on LZ1.
Right.
So landings are definitely almost as cool as the launches are.
Mhm.
Landings are those sonic booms are unlike anything you've ever heard. It's just absolutely fantastic.
And
It'll
if you
shake your
guys
beard whiskers.
you guys saw the picture I got of Atlas 5,
Mhm.
is that the one I got?
Yeah.
Okay, with my garbage Samsung Galaxy S7. You just wait until you see the stuff I come up with my new phone.
She's done.
What's your new
Pro,
phone,
folks.
huh?
Oh, I have
You
this
switch to the
little
dark side.
iPhone 11 Pro with the little 3
Nah.
cameras on it. I'm excited to
Oh.
take more very amateur, accidental good pictures with this phone.
Another really interesting one that's going to come up is the they switched that SOCOM or SAOCOM, however you say it, from Vandenberg to here, and it's a polar orbit, and so it's going to be flying south, and they have figured out a way to fly to because typically you can't because just here I'll pull up.
Is that the JC Sat?
No, I think it's SOCOM.
SOCOM.
Yeah, let me see. Let me get zoomed out here, and I can show why this is difficult.
Man, we got a few, quite a few launches in December scheduled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, there's over 3.
All right, so you see where we are, and one of the reasons that Cape Canaveral is so good to launch from is because it does stick out into the ocean a little bit, but to go straight south, you see that you would fly over the state of Florida, which you can't do. In the U.S., we do not fly over people.
Right.
China, that's a little bit different. They don't mind dropping rockets on their people. But
No, of course not.
they've figured out a way to, and it's like, I don't know how much it was figured out. It's more like now they're willing to do it. They've studied it enough, and they have the confidence to do it. So they're going to do a dog leg where they're going to launch this way and then curve the rocket around to head straight south. And I'm guessing that it'll be so high up at this point. I mean, at a certain point, you can't say every rocket goes over land at some point. Once it's up in space. So you have to draw the line somewhere. But
Cuba, watch out.
So it's gonna launch south. So if we're watching the launch from here, from the beach, we'll see the rocket launch and then come up over top of us. It'll feel like
crazy.
it's coming right up overneath you, or overneath overneath you.
Yeah. Go underwater and come back.
You heard it live, folks. Overneath you.
And I have seen some launch kind of southeast, definitely away from, they're more east than south, I think. But I think that seeing one come south and up overhead, that's going to be really interesting.
It's going to be definitely going to make for some new different breed of shots. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll feel a lot closer to the rocket for sure whenever it comes up overhead.
That's what I want, really. I want to feel closer.
Feel the heat,
right? I'm curious what kind of a streak shot you'll be able to get out of that.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
A wider lens.
If it's a night shot or if it's a night launch, yeah.
If it's a night, I'm really curious how that would actually come out.
Yeah, I think Keagle might be the only one that can grab it with his 6.5 millimeter lens.
Yeah.
6?
6.5. Can you believe that? That's so wide.
I thought I was doing good with my 8.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
He done dropped it down 2 more on me.
Yep.
Yep.
Dang.
Well, I guess before we dip out of here, so I'm curious of how long they're going to be building the Starship in the Coke facility, because they're doing this railway thing, and they're currently now hammering down
the pylons,
for a bridge that will go right over that exit that they want to drive on.
And I think
how high this thing's going to be. So they're going to have to squeak this thing out before they start building that bridge.
And I'm pretty sure there is an agreement.
The only one.
I'm pretty sure there's an agreement with Virgin, which is kind of funny, between SpaceX and Virgin. They're competitors in the space world, kind of. I mean, Virgin's not launching yet, but they do want to launch satellites to orbit. But I think they have an agreement where they're going to hold off doing the bridge until they're able to get the Starship out of there. But I think that's going to be it.
It's not going to be in it.
That's going to be
they're
it.
Not going to build it there anymore.
Yeah.
It's like maybe they'll still make rings and then ship them over.
It could be. Yeah, that would make sense. Unless they just decide to do it all over there, at Kennedy, because they've got that stuff going up. I think we've talked about that. They're building over there. I think, is it Roberts Road?
I can't remember, but yeah,
it's somewhere. I wonder if I could actually find it.
They are building.
I gotta get over there and actually see it before they move it.
Yeah. Can't believe you ain't seen it.
Yeah.
Hey, the Halloween party's coming up. You need.
I know. I plan on it. I'm also trying to plan to go to Halloween Horror Nights too.
We have Horror Nights here in my house.
I want to go the Ghostbusters theme this year. Ironic enough of your background poster there.
Yeah.
I heard it's really cool. Like this year, I heard it's really awesome. So I'd really like to go.
Well, the Halloween party's one day, and then there's other days. You could do both.
You got plenty of time.
Why not both?
Yeah.
I think it goes until the beginning of November. So you got plenty of time.
like the first or second weekend in November.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything for Roberts Road. That is the name of that road over there, right? Where they've been talking about SpaceX is building over there.
Yeah, on site.
Yeah, and I don't know that Google Maps has been updated recently enough to even show anything.
Nah.
It might be that
my house a couple years old.
It could be that the stuff on Kennedy grounds isn't Googleable. Maybe, I don't know. But it's over there. It's over there somewhere. Yeah, Googleable.
It's somewhere in that vast amount of land that they have.
Yeah, and basically it's going to be closed off from most of the prying eyes. I mean, I know some people have, like, I know, Julia's hitched a ride on the tour bus just to go get shots,
Yeah.
So, we'll still be able to get shots, but it'll be few and far between.
Yep.
And it'll be like quick drive-by, just snap a shot, and that's all you get.
Yep.
You get through that tinted window of the buses.
But, that's not surprising, really. It's like, you don't expect them to just build that thing right out there where everybody can see forever. This is the prototype phase.
Well, over at just going down to the visitor center today, Blue Origin's just building like crazy again over there.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I got another building going.
Yep, they ain't messing around over there.
They're building a really tall structure right now. I wonder if it's going to be an assembly.
They're probably building up for New Glenn.
Yeah, even if it's tall, they're going to transport it horizontally. I'm almost certain about that. So it's not. They're not going to construct it vertically and then roll it. I don't think.
I mean, maybe to stack it and then they lay it back down.
Maybe.
Because they're building a very tall structure right now in the back. It's all steel right now, but I should have took a picture when I drove by today. But
maybe they'll build like a second stage there, or fairings or something like that.
I don't know. I got somebody on the inside I can get us some information from, though.
I'd like to know it.
All right. Well, for next week, we'll know.
I'll do some talking and see what I can find out. Still trying to get a tour booked. Trying.
That'd be cool.
Well, anybody got anything else they want to add before we wrap it up?
No, we covered quite a bit.
All right, folks. Well, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Pressing for Flight. And I'm not going to go through everyone's thing, because if you're watching this, you can read right here on the screen. It shows everyone's Twitter handle.
Oh, I got something.
Okay.
New York City is dirty.
Oh, yeah. Matt's back from his trip to New York.
Yeah.
Very dirty city. Actually, me and Becca were talking about that. She's like, "Yeah, it's a very dirty city." And the rats. I didn't see any rats.
There's
but
a lot
yeah,
of people there, man, and people are dirty.
I mean, people just throw their trash on the sidewalk, and even in the middle of the road, just like piles of garbage. It's like, what's going on right now?
Yeah,
that happens around here, but we don't have as many people throwing out garbage.
That's it. Yeah,
I see garbage on the roads all the time. Diapers, all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, that's probably honestly the only difference between New York and anywhere else is that there's the sheer volume of people.
Yeah.
So many people.
More people that don't care throw out stuff. It builds up.
I could feel the germs on my hands riding that subway.
Subway is fun though. I like
it.
Riding
Is.
Subway.
It's very confusing though.
Yeah.
Very confusing. It's like, wait, what's going on? I thought I was still going in one direction. Like, no, you completely went in the complete opposite direction.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
All right, well, folks, that's been a show. Tune in next week where we'll be a little bit closer to actually having a rocket launch.
Yay!
Yeah, right.
The drought will end at some point. It will
Hopefully.
end. Yes,
maybe.
Yeah. We were supposed to, have a launch. Actually, yeah, that's the original Starlink date was yesterday, wasn't it? I didn't even think about it.
Yep.
So hopefully it's coming up soon in the next couple weeks. And but either way, we have a lot of really cool launches coming up, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you something live. When we get boosters coming back, I'll throw my phone out, and we'll be able to bring you. And actually, I'm probably going to do it on Twitter. I think I mentioned this last week, but whenever I'm doing that, like on location streaming something, I'll probably stream it to Twitter. That way, I can quickly get on and like retweet it and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, make sure to follow us on Twitter so you'll know. Pressing for Flight. That's a number 4 in there. And with that, Keagle has some music for you to listen to on our way out.
Shutdown sequence initiated. Shutting down.